dissolved solids. Let's talk about total dissolved solids. Now this water is all circulating into the pond back there and coming around. All of it is. Now there are fish in this water, and if you look at the total dissolved solids, if you can read that, I hope you can, but if you can't, it says it's 417 parts per million. Now 417 is not bad. If you were doing a straight hydroponic operation, I think what you'd want is, mixed in the proper proportions, but you'd want it to read about 1,000 parts per million, something like that. Now there are other ways of measuring it, but I'm sticking with parts per million. And now the reason I'm looking at this is because upstairs, up there I have 3 more systems. And I want to show you the dissolved solids in milk. Oh, the one thing I didn't mention, I have been throwing some fertilizers in here, some nutrients in here. Even though I do have fish, I don't have very many of them, so I don't think they're doing enough. But I've put some nutrients in here to bring the dissolved solids up. They were around 200 or something like that. But anyway, so now they're around 417. I think I can live with that. The plants seem to be doing okay. Now let me take you upstairs here, and I'll show you something that's quite interesting. Now what I've got here is you can see there's a system right there. That's just a flow system. And this is a floating raft system here. And they're fed off of that tank down there that's got a lot of goldfish in it. Now this circulates through everything. And it also circulates out here, and I'll show you that in a minute. So the dissolved solids here show 695. See, that's a little higher than outside, but that's still pretty good. Now, that's 695 is good for all this system, and it's because it's all the same water everywhere. Let me show you where else this water goes. So let's go down here, and you can see there's a tank, and you might see some goldfish in there. Now this also goes out here to this other little greenhouse that I call my south greenhouse, and it feeds this side up here. Okay, so it comes in right there. See the flow, and then it goes in and it comes down, and it drains back on this side out here. But first, this is the other side. Now this is all self-contained. There's some goldfish down in there, and it goes back up there. There's a hose. It goes up there, and then it flows back down and drains back down right there. Okay, now let's take readings in both of these, and let me show you something. If I take a reading in the water here, since it's the same water as out there, I should get something like 695 or thereabouts. Or 595, whatever it was. So let's go in here and see what we get. You can see there's 545, which is pretty close to what was out there. Now, this system over here, is not connected. This is all by itself, but it does have fish. So let's take a reading over here. And this system shows 473, 474. So it's a little bit lower in dissolved solids than the rest of it, but it's kind of low, and things look like they're growing well in here. They're doing okay. I got to put a few more things in here. Okay, you can see that this system is 450, 470, something like that parts per million. And this one's 550, 545, something like that. So they're kind of down there in the low range. And remember, this one has got it's got its own system. There's a goldfish pond right behind you there, a little tub. And this is part of the main system. Now I've got one more system back in there that is all by itself, and it has no goldfish in it. And I have put some nutrients in it, but not very much. And look at the difference here. Let's go look at that one. Okay, now it is this system right here that I like to call my lettuce machine. Now this is the first one I made. Now look at this. You can see that some of those plants are looking okay. Some of them are not. Some of them are looking bad. See, and they got root problems. It looks to me like Pythium or something is hitting them, but it is something else. And let me show you what that is. Hang on just a second. Right, now, as you can see, this system basically has a sump right there. A big old, I think it's a horse bucket or something, but it's a big bucket. And it circulates up here, pumps up here, and then it zigzags back and forth. Comes out of this one, back down. Now, there's no fish in this one, and never has been. And I put enough nutrients in here so that, you know, it's 600, 800, maybe something like that. But look at what we've got right now. 1,400, 1,444 parts per million in that one. Now the question is, why is that so high? And what I'm wondering is, why is this so high and the others are really relatively quite low? Is it because of the fish? 1,450 about parts per million. That's 1,000 parts per million more than any of the other two, any of the other systems. And the only difference is, I think, is there's fish in those, and there's not fish in this one. And the other difference might possibly be that this water is a little warmer, and I think it is a little warmer because that one has a cooling effect to it outside. I'll show you that later. But what I'm wondering is the fish the biggest buffer system that there is here? Because I've noticed I've had hot water in that other system before. When I say hot, I mean it's been over 80 degrees. And I have had no Pythium problems or root rot or anything. But this one has got it right now. And the dissolved solids are 1,400. And I don't know what those dissolved solids are comprised of, because when I put the chemicals in here that were in proper mixture, it was about 600 or 800 parts per million. And now all by itself, 1,400. So what's happening? I don't know. But what I'm going to do is go down and buy some feeder goldfish. Luckily, they're pretty cheap. Put them in there, and I know that they survived from my days when I was a kid with a fishbowl. You know, they'll survive some pretty harsh conditions. But this isn't harsh. I think for a goldfish, this is just fine. So what I'm going to do is throw them goldfish in there and feed them properly, and see if in a week or two the dissolved solids come back to where they ought to be. And I went to the pet store and I bought a dozen of these, what they call feeder goldfish. I guess some people use these to feed their pet piranhas or something, I don't know. But anyway, they're only 29 cents a piece, so they're pretty cheap. So what I'm going to do is turn these guys loose in the sump down there, if I can get this elastic on. Alright guys, it's rough treatment, but there you go. Okay. So, they're in there. Let me get a little bit of fish food. So it's been about 11 days since I put the goldfish in here. And I don't know if you can see, but I think you'll probably see that their growth is a lot better. And I have put a thermometer in here, and there's been several times when this water's gotten up to 95 degrees. Now, generally it'll cool down to about 65 degrees at night. But during the day it's 80 or 85 or something. But I want to show you something that's astonishing. There's something about the fish. Look at this. Remember I showed you the roots on the other ones and how nasty looking they were. Look at this. That's the same plant. That's the same plant that was real nasty looking, and I don't think it had this kind of growth on it. But this is 11 days later. All I did was put goldfish in there. I think this is astonishing. This is not the only one. Here's another one. And you see, there's new roots coming out here. Look at that. All these new ones are looking pretty good. I guess there's some old ones. I don't know whether that's just... but anyway, they're looking great. And let me pull it out of the back here. See there, that one's starting to show some nice white roots. Those roots weren't there before. They were all nasty and dark looking and, you know, like they had some kind of a fungus on them or something. See, and even this one here, look at that. They're growing some new roots. Now, I need to measure the salinity or the total dissolved solids right now. I'm not sure what they are. I'll do that in a second. But right now this says the temperature here is 80 degrees. Now that's not good for Pythium convention, but there is something about putting goldfish in there, warm water or not, that seems to help the whole thing out. I'm not sure what it is, but it seems to be working. I don't know. But look at this one. Now there's one of the old roots. That's one of the radishes. But even that one, see the new roots coming down. There's some looking like new growth. This one here. Yeah. I don't know. Anyway, I just thought I'd send this update to you. And there is something about putting the goldfish in there that seems to get rid of the Pythium and yeah, I guess gets rid of the Pythium or something. And as long as they survive, they do pretty good. I don't have that many in there. There's just a dozen. Well, it was a dozen. They started with a dozen little feeder goldfish, and they're only like 15 cents a piece at the pet store. And I think they use them to feed animals or something. But I'm astonished.